All right. So what I wanted to do today was read something from the Bible. I I've not always been a Christian. Um, even now would I say that I'm a Christian? I don't know if that's the word that I would use to describe myself. I would say that I am somebody who resonates with Jesus. That's the way that I would put it. Where Jesus, resonates with me and I feel, Jesus present in my life. So does that make me a Christian? I don't know because, what is a Christian? What does that even mean? Like out of all the Christians that I've met, you know, were they were they true to, anything that I consider to be true in the Bible, to true to anything that Jesus said? Not so much. Sorry. You know, there's a lot of goats who pretend to be Christians, perhaps more goats than lambs. The lambs, they're not always, they don't always go by the name of Christian. They don't always, flock so obviously in the church that is, known today, or the various incarnations of churches. I think to truly be in alignment with Jesus is more, about, what he said about, a good plant bears good fruit. So, does the fruit decide that it's, you know, oh, I've decided that I am now, a Christian because this is what I've been told by everyone, you know, since I was a childhood is the way to be part of my community. But I don't think it's really that simple. I don't think it's as simple as saying, hey, you know, I I've renounced my previous sins and now I accept Jesus into my heart and now I'm a Christian. I don't know. I think I mean ultimately whether you say you're a Christian or not, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately, Jesus is the one who decides whether you're a Christian or not. And, no pastor or preacher or, earthly man will be the judge of that or really the judge of anything about you. God himself will just, decide by his own decisions, who lived in accordance with him and, ultimately, who was the lamb and who was the goat. So anyway, I just wanted to read this part in the Bible just because it came into my head. Because I think it speaks to many of us, who have walked through this lifetime and, the incredible amount of suffering and despair and disheartening ways that we've been treated, by the world, the unkindness, the lack of empathy, the lack of consideration. And, all we've had really is something deeper inside of us, you know, that spoke to some higher truth, regardless of whether it came from the Bible or from, some other scripture or something else that was meaningful. God is of God, God is a living God. God is not a dead God that is merely present in one book, in one story, in one incarnation. God has always been with us since the beginning of time. And it wasn't, only 2,000 years ago that, God suddenly appeared and then, everything, you know, then it was only possible to, to live in accordance with God. I strongly oppose this idea of, that until Jesus came to this planet, that, people were, not of God, and that God was not present in our lives, and that the path of God was not possible before that. So anyway, I think to truly be in accordance and in alignment with God, you have to look at all creation and say, okay, this is his work, and it's for him to decide, its meaning, not for us, or the small self that we often identify with, the higher self, when we sort of let go of this intellectual, garbage that we fill our heads with throughout our lives, when we can let go, then we become more in line with God. We commune with God when we sort of become more quiet and humble within ourselves. Anyhow, so I just wanted to read this. It's in Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lay down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness, for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So, don't take anyone else's word for it. Let your faith decide whether you shall rest and dwell in the house of the Lord forever, because that is up to you. That is up to God. So it's not up to anyone else out there, anyone else who's tries to grab power over your soul. You are responsible for your faith and your own goodness. So find that goodness, find that feeling that feels right, and that is in alignment with God within yourself. Don't let anyone else mislead you into thinking that they are the path to God. No, God is the path to God, and you have to find that path within yourself. So trust, and have faith that you will know the correct thing to do, even in a dark world, in a dark age, in dark times, surrounded by many enemies and a great sea of darkness. Anyhow, I just wanted to share these feelings with you, these thoughts, and there's a great love inside of me that wants to speak forward. And so, this is one way in which I choose to do this. Yeah. With love. See you guys later.